But first of all, to another legend, Andrew Eborn, our paper reviewer today. He's a barrister and broadcaster. Lovely to see you.
It's lovely to see you, and lovely to see you inside. I've been seeing you outside in the cold all week.
There was a controversy over my scarf. I don't know if you're familiar with Scarfgate.
Oh, tell me.
Scarfgate. So I have one scarf.
Right.
On Tuesday I was in Downing Street. Downing Street is extremely cold.
Yes.
It's in shadow. You're standing outside. There are no toilets. And basically you've got to sort of stand there, not drink too much, because obviously you then have to go to out of the security gates into Whitehall and see if you can nip into one of the pubs and do a pee. But anyway, it was very cold, and all I had was a jacket.
Right.
So the next day I thought, I will not be nearly as cold. It was -1. It was extremely cold. The next day was Wednesday and was Zelensky. I thought I was going to have a nice quiet morning, and my boss rang me about 9:15 saying, "Get down to Westminster, Zelensky's coming." So I put double socks on.
Double socks?
Double socks. Had a vest on, had my jacket, and I had my scarf. Now, I only own one scarf.
Right.
And it happens to be my old kind of university scarf.
Oh, no, I get that. That's good.
But the colours of the scarf are black and white and blue and yellow. So I was accused of being a Zelensky apologist and warmonger for wearing a scarf that is actually a scarf I've had for about 20 years.
Well, there you go.
And it's nothing to do with Ukraine.
And have people sent you in lots of new scarves for you to wear?
Well, I mean, I prefer biscuits, but, scarves are nonetheless welcome, as long as they're not sort of those kind of very swishy, pashmina scarves.
Well, you're right. And if you eat lots of biscuits, the scarf will be the only thing that still fits.
That's right. So well, we're almost in that situation, Andrew. It is. Anyway, to the papers.
To the papers, indeed.
The Times front page is an interesting one.
Well, learn work skills or face benefit cuts, the jobless are told. And what this is benefit claimants are going to be required to spend a fortnight on an intensive programme designed to get them back into work. And basically, if they refuse, then they have a risk of having their benefits cut.
What do you make of that? Because we've heard a lot of this kind of these ideas before in terms of getting the long-term jobless back to work and so on. I mean, is this something that's actually going to work, do you think?
Well, I think as a principle, and you can reverse, if you like, the headline, the idea of we need skills and you can encourage people to get skills is a great
1.3 million vacancies in our economy. There's a lot of jobs we need people to do.
There's a lot of jobs, and I think the more you can get people getting back into work makes sense.
Of course.
But also, and they talked very recently about the over 50s and the steps that can be taken to encourage them back into workforce. People are living longer. The economics of the whole thing suggests that we need people to work longer, not least because it keeps them off the streets, it keeps them engaged, it probably reduces mental health and so on and so forth, and issues regarding that. So I'm all for it. I think we need to reverse the negative way that it's reported. It's not we're going to take away your benefits. We're going to train you to be great and get you a job.
Well, this is the whole point as well. I mean, there is a very, Rishi Sunak talks about the dignity of work, the idea that you are actually contributing something by working, and it's best to be able to work if you can. And the thing is that there are, of course, many people who we need to support who are ill, for example, or disabled or whatever, who can't work, and that's fair enough. But there are also people who could work but don't and almost choose not to. But it's interesting because there are all sorts of things in terms of generational unemployment. If you've had, your father, your parents or your grandparents have never had a job, and you think, well, I'll just live on benefits like them, for example, there are all sorts of issues around this, aren't there? There are all sorts of systemic kind of issues. Not that we should really understand that. I think we shouldn't force people into work, but we should incentivize them. And also, when the immigration argument comes up in this station, people say, well, hold on, we've loads of people who are economically inactive within our community at the moment. Surely they should be doing the jobs.
Oh, you're absolutely right. And I think we need to look at all of it. But my main sort of point is that we need to change the narrative. It's really good if you have a community, a population which is educated in terms of skills and so on and so forth. That's a positive message rather than threatening people going to take things away. If people genuinely need benefits, then let them have those benefits.
Absolutely.
If people can be educated into something new, that's going to happen. And I always talk about the progress we're making, seismic changes in AI, in robotics and so on and so forth. A lot of the traditional jobs are going to be replaced as a result of it. So let's look at the new skill set, because that's what's going to happen to educate and empower the future.
Totally agree. On a much more negative and very sad story, Nicola Bulley's partner has been giving a number of interviews. I saw him on the telly last night, and he has been talking to a lot of the newspapers have interviewed him as well. What's he saying? Why is he speaking up?
Well, it's speculation. It is incredibly sad. I mean, she disappeared. Nicola disappeared on the 27th of January. All sorts of bits of information is being filtered out. She was with her dog Willow. There was a phone which was still connected to the workforce or whatever. All sorts of questions. whenever there are questions, people try and fill the vacuum.
It is a real mystery in terms of how she went missing and where she is and what has happened here. And some of these, I was talking to a friend of mine last night, a very similar case in Switzerland actually, and in terms of just well, as you say, the vacuum that is filled by speculation by these keyboard warriors and so on, and people who just don't know what they're talking about, actually.
And that's the problem.
So is he trying to dispel some of these myths?
Well, he's basically saying someone local knows something, is what he's saying. He's saying, well, she didn't fall in the river, she hasn't drowned, she hasn't disappeared. I don't know how he gets this information. I do understand there are many cases in history. You think about McCann, for example. You look at that, which obviously is still going on, as to what may or may not have happened. You had Julian Sands. I went to school with Julian. You know, his disappearance has sort of been knocked off the headlines, if you like, for a little while, but he hasn't been found yet. And people are disappearing on a fairly frequent basis, and they are unknown. So my heart goes out, absolutely, to Paul Ansell, who is the partner, and you do want to keep it as part of the narrative, and we do hope that people will come to some sort of resolution. My concern is, at the moment, the damage that's being done by people who are speculating, the people who went to what is effectively maybe a crime scene, and what happened from a forensic point of view, all those people clambering around trying
Well, the police should have sealed it off.
I agree.
They screwed up. They screwed up. Let's go to the second page of the Daily Telegraph. Tax-free pension could be increased.
Well, and I think this is going back to the point about encouraging people back to work, because there's a cap at the moment, 40,000 per year, and after 1.073 million, you pay 55% if your pension pot reaches that.
Who has a pension that size anymore these days?
Well, but you've got to work out what does it cover. If people are going to be retiring at 50, then you turn around and suddenly say, well, hang on, that's got to keep them going. It wouldn't just be 30
Maybe
years.
for 40 years.
It could be, exactly. So you need to have a pot. So what they're doing is, and they said this actually a few weeks ago, it's suddenly got into the news cycle again, is you need to look at ways that we can incentivise people to work. So rather than saying you've got to lose 55% of whatever you earn in tax, we'll incentivise you by raising that allowance. And that's the general sort of principle.
But there can't be too many people who save the full £40,000 a year into a pension. Like that requires a lot of income in order to do that.
It does, but you look at those sort of people, so they're talking about the medical profession, for example. Those
so is this
just
a tax break for rich people?
Well, it could be that, because you've got to earn over a certain amount to do that. But if it gets them back into the workforce, tax is still not 100%, but you're still encouraging people to contribute to the economy. So, and I think it's an advantage to what you, as you said beforehand, people need to have an incentive to work. If the incentive is, let's reduce the tax and so on and so forth, let's find new skills that we can do in this new world of AI and robotics and so on and so forth, that can only be for the good.
Okay, thank you, Andrew. We'll come back to you after the break, but I just Andrew Eborn is a barrister and broadcaster. He's got our paper review this morning, and you've been looking into, of course, Valentine's Day is a few days to go, Andrew, and the Times, page 12, chatbots will spell the future of love.
Absolutely. Well, this is the week that our friends at Moonpig have said they're going to give people ChatGPT to help them write Valentine's Day poems. Is good. But
is this a good idea?
Well, it is, because people can't write until you meet somebody in person, and you do realise that they're not normally as eloquent as the chatbot might make. Well, indeed. But this particular story, chatbots will spell the future of love and friendship, says an AI expert. As you know, I talk around the world on AI, and I was invited to Cannes fairly recently to help our friends at Tokyo Broadcast System launch a new game show called Love by AI. They're the people behind Takeshi's Castle and Ninja Warrior, so it will be a global success. And what they basically do, they give people the right words to say, what to wear, where to take people, with the likelihood of being able to find love. What this particular research is saying is that chatbots now in the future will be much more amenable. They won't forget your birthday. They know what sort of conversations to have with you. Yes. So people will be having affairs effectively with these AI experts. So
they'll be helping you kind of manage your time and all the rest. I mean, it's interesting. I'm quite good at remembering birthdays, but because I write them down in my phone and have them, you know, on my calendar. I mean, some people are like, oh, you never forget a birthday. It's like, well, you know, it's just because it's written down. You cheat. My goodness.
Well, we all cheat. It pops up. If you're on Facebook, they tell you all these thousands of people you've never met.
Well, it's
their birthday today, and happy birthday. There'll be lots of people celebrating today as well.
Yes, indeed. Well, it sort of reminds me a little bit of star signs when they say, you know, you will celebrate a birthday this year. the Sun has information on the Coronation emblem.
Yeah, and well, it's here. I don't know if we can pull it up. That's the King
Well, if you're
Charles...
watching on Talk TV, you can see this. It's King Charles III, Coronation, 6th of May.
6th of May.
It's coming up soon.
It is very... And what I love is that he chose specially because it's Archie's 4th birthday.
Oh, that's lovely.
Isn't that good? So it's going to be exactly on that sort of basis. But yes, that is the Coronation. It's celebrating his love of nature and so on and so forth. And also this week, the coin was revealed. I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't. No,
so they've got a picture of Charles looking very regal, as only Charles would.
As you would expect.
As you'd expect from a king. And it's great. And I think that what we all need in this country is things that bring us together.
Yes,
and last year
absolutely.
we had both the intense joy of the Jubilee and obviously the sadness when Her Majesty passed. But it brought the country together.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think we can look forward to that as well.
Well, I suppose the question is, will it bring the royal family together?
Yeah.
Is another question we'll leave for another time. Now, Ofcom are listening, as they always are, and of course we wouldn't want to swear on air, and I know you'll be careful about that, Andrew, but the Star never lets us down. Page 7 says,
Yes.
Swearing is good.
I swear F-words make you tough.
Brilliant.
Is what it says. And actually it's been proven that the boffins have got out and they've done scientific research that cursing relieves pain and it even boosts strength. Now what they did, they got people to do one of these sort of grasp tests. And if you swore, you suddenly became a lot stronger.
Right.
I'm swearing.
Yes.
And you worked on that sort of basis. So it's very good for you. And I think it's those extremes of emotion. We talked earlier in the week about people lacking the ability to laugh anymore.
Yes.
Well, we laugh every day, and it releases endorphins and so on and so forth. So they have this thing called laughter yoga that can basically...
Could there be swearing yoga?
I think swearing yoga, we should do that. I reckon people around the world, we could sell scarves to go with it.
Yes.
And you could have your swearing yoga, which will build your strength, improve your mental ability, and things like that.
I think you and I should go to Alan Sugar and see if we can get the 250
I think
grand.
he listens. He never misses an episode.
He never
of the
misses a
PC
show. He's a
It's gotta be
very,
good.
very, very wise man. And it wouldn't be this show if there wasn't an animal story. The Telegraph magazine has a scientific study into canine longevity. How long are dogs living?
Well, they sort of say, and this is why you have 7 years for every one of ours, but they're now saying you can get pills for dogs to make them a bit longer.
Live longer.
Live longer.
So I suppose this is a logical extension of the industry that tries to get us all to live longer and look younger and all the rest of it.
And that's exactly what they've... I think it's called Project Methuselah, who was like over 900 years old, if you might remember.
I like it.
But it's not just dogs, it's about humans as well. And you've got to then work out. That's great. But what are we going to do with our excess time? People love the idea of their pets living forever.
Yes.
And you can.
Well,
just
some
like,
people have cloned their pets as well.
Dolly the sheep, you remember years ago?
Yeah, that's right.
Not
Well, the thing
not
is,
that
as
she's
well,
a dog.
like humans, I wouldn't want my cat Jack, the rescue cat, who's of course the real star of this show. I wouldn't want him to be to be really old and infirm.
Yes.
I wouldn't want him to kind of live forever. I want him to have a really good life and a really good. The quality of life is the issue rather than the length of it. Surely.
Oh no, you're absolutely right. But what the cute thing about that, to combine it with technology, not only can we make the dogs live longer, but as you know, I'm involved with lots of things on the tech world. So we do holograms, but not just of people. We can also do one of your pet.
Brilliant.
So you want to have Jack in the corner with you forever.
I
can sort that out.
Easier to feed him as well.
Oh, that's fantastic.
The hologram might be expensive, but the food will be cheap.
Well, but it's electricity now, so it might be more expensive.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you've got to do the cost-benefit analysis there. Andrew, thank you for that rattle through the papers. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much indeed. That's Andrew Eborn, who is a broadcaster and a barrister as well. So thank you very, very much indeed to him. Thanks also to everybody